Hey guys, welcome back to another Gift Talk. I'm just here to, kind of do a different video. I normally do room tours and stuff like that, but today I kind of wanted to do a video describing how I got into collecting a certain thing. And that thing would actually be the Ninja Turtles that you see behind me in the last case. If you see my room tour, you know that this entire room has a lot to do with Ninja Turtles. And each person has their own story of why they started collecting things that they collect. For me, Ninja Turtles wasn't something that I really got into when I was a kid. Unfortunately, it wasn't a huge part of my beginning of my life. I was more into like superheroes and Marvel and DC at that time. I didn't really know much about Ninja Turtles. There is a bit of backstory with that. About the time of the release of the Ninja Turtles, there was a huge wave of paranoia, where parents and religious people and whatnot decided that watching kung fu or ninjas would actually bring out or raise violent kids. So there was a huge naysay that you couldn't watch it, you couldn't do that unless you wanted your kids to become violent. Unfortunately, my parents, kind of heard that and decided that it wasn't something they're willing to do. I totally understand. They trying to raise me as best as they could. And there's some validity to, watching violent stuff and becoming violent in, one's actions and attitudes and whatnot. That's just been proven. But at that point, all my friends were really big into Ninja Turtles. So I wasn't allowed to, but I got to watch other people kind of grow up with it. So I did. I did have. I met one kid when I was younger, and he ended up. Well, I guess young. Say 10 to 8 to 10, 8 to 10 years old. He had just moved into town. We had befriended him, and him and his mom only stuck around for like 3 months. I think there was something with his father trying to get custody of him, and he was abusive, so they had to move around a lot. So I don't want to get too much into that, but one of the things that he did have was a massive toy collection for that time of the period. Nothing like what I have behind me or around me, but he had a huge treasure chest of action figures, Ninja Turtles, GI Joes, and whatnot. And his mom had moved it around so much, she eventually just said, "You have to get rid of some of it." So what he did is he invited 5 to 10 of us over one night, had a pizza party. We slept over, and he says, "You can pick any 3 toys from this bin." So we each went through. Now, knowing, I saw that he had a lot of Ninja Turtles, saw he had a lot of GI Joes, 2 things my parents never let me have. So I didn't pick anything. And he eventually kind of noticed, and he says, "Why aren't you picking anything?" And says, "Well, you have stuff that my parents won't let me have." He goes, "Oh, well, do you want any of it?" And I went, "Yeah, I'd love some Ninja Turtles. I'd love some GI Joes." And he goes, "Oh, well, I'll give you one. Your parents probably won't know it's or a Ninja Turtle. If it comes up, just say it's a weird version of C-3PO from Star Wars." And I went, "Oh, okay." And he handed me, I have the figure right here, he handed me Fugitoid. You can see how he might be mistaken for C-3PO for people who didn't know, much better. But this was my first Ninja Turtle. Not this exact one, I had to rebuy this one. Some period of time, I think between 18 and 25. I got rid of all my Ninja Turtles for some reason. I don't remember why. But so that was my first Ninja Turtle figure ever. And the funny thing is that if you know the history of Ninja Turtles, you know that Fugitoid was actually the first Ninja Turtle, or first character that Peter Lord and Kevin Eastman actually created. They tried to get it made into a comic book. No one was picking it up. It wasn't until they were pretty down on their luck and had, absolutely no option that they came up with Michelangelo just to make each other laugh. And from there it sprouted, and later on they put Fugitoid into the Ninja Turtle series. So it's kind of weird and interesting that it was my first Ninja Turtle that I was given. So I also picked he also gave me a G.I. Joe and a submarine, and I was pretty happy with that. I guess in the morning though, he goes, "Oh, you know what, screw it, I'll give you 2 more." And I went, I won't be able to keep it. He's just hide them, don't worry about it, hide it. And I went, okay, I'll do my best. And the other one he gave me was the movie Donatello, which I have here. These don't stand up, so the bases are kind of neat. That was my actual first Ninja Turtle. He also gave me a vehicle. He says, you got a turtle, and you now need a vehicle. So he gave me the Footski. Now it didn't have the flag, it didn't have the bombs. It was pretty much just a base model. I don't remember if there was even any stickers. I actually bought this one much later when I restarted collecting. So, and I had that for quite a while, and for the longest time I ended up hiding it underneath my bed in a box with Donatello, but I had Fugitoid out. I remember distinctly, taking baths with the Footski and all that, and I don't remember when, if my parents ever noticed, they never said anything, and if they ever saw Donatello, they never said anything, because eventually it became nothing, and I was able to just collect Ninja Turtles outright. So about 25 to 30, I kind of got really big into it. I had, two rooms just full of Ninja Turtles, or full of, figures and movies and comics and all that stuff. And Ninja Turtles came and went. But eventually, I did end up meeting my wife, and we decided to get married. I had to condense 2 to 3 rooms of collectibles, movies, video games, and all that into one hallway. Roughly about 5 or 6 media shelves, like this one right here that has my video games on it. I had 5 or 6 of those, and they had movies on the bottom, but they had figures and whatnot on top. If you go back in this channel, that was my first room tour. So that was that. And I can't remember if I ended up, if I had more than one, but I remember having one Ninja Turtle, and there's actually a little bit of story to this one as well. I got rid of everything except for this one Ninja Turtle. And this one Ninja Turtle, it's kind of unique because it's actually a knockoff. Now, if you're not familiar with the term, or if you don't understand what that means, it literally is something that somebody made to look like the original product that they were hoping to get it and the people would buy it. I remember having I used to go to a flea market at the local fairgrounds, and they would have big bins, and I actually found a bendable Battletoad at that time, and I posted it, and someone commented on it and goes, "Hey, would you be willing to trade that? I have quite a bit of stuff for trade. Let me know." I says, "Well, I really like it, but I'll look." I look. And there was a huge anime figure that I really liked. And I says, I know what these things go for. That huge anime figure would be really cool, but you don't seem to have much of anything else. Do you have any turtles? And he goes, Ninja Turtles? And he goes, I went, yeah. He goes, I have one, but you're not going to want it. It's a knockoff. I went, well, try me. Send me a picture. Sure enough, I really liked what I saw, and I was like, yeah, throw that in. You can have Battletoad. Now, hindsight, that was a pretty bad idea because those things are freaking hard to find. But, this, I didn't know I didn't know how important this turtle was going to be. And that is this one. So, this is a NECA original comic version turtle knockoff. Now, the reason we can tell it was a knockoff because they never came out with one with the colored bandanas. They only came out with the ones that were red at the time. So, and there are also no markings on the feet, anywhere on the shell. This is somebody made this really nice, really well detailed. I love it. And it's Donatello, so it's my favorite turtle. I'll blame it on the movie one. So that was the start of that. Well, when we got married and we moved into the apartment, I remember keeping that one, and it has stuck with me for almost 8 to 9 years when everything else had gone by the wayside. And then when we got married and we moved into this house, I started finding stuff I found one thing at a Goodwill. I forget what it was. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I like Ninja Turtles, I'll grab it. Well, I can't find the other one. Yeah, I can't find the other one. But there's another Donatello in my collection right now. Or maybe I got rid of it, I don't know. But it also started, it along with the other knockoff, started a collection that you see behind me and you've seen in my videos. And it simply is, me and my wife went, for one of our anniversaries, went to a local town about 2 to 4 hours away. And in this town, they had a plaza where you could go, and they had different shops and all that. And one of them was this just amazing and very big and very cluttered, kind of, you had to dig through it to find anything good, toy store. And I remember seeing a glass case that had turtles. And I looked at them, and he had some very expensive ones. He had some very cheap ones. He had some in the package. He had some out. And I was a little overwhelmed, I admit. But the one I picked up was what I thought was the movie Donatello. Now, it also turned out to be a knockoff. This one didn't have the rubber skin. It doesn't have the liver spots on the skin like the original one does. This one was, I think it came in like a 4 or 5 pack that, was all knockoffs. And if you've collected turtles, you've probably seen them. So I got that, thinking, so happy, because I thought it was the original. I was like, I have my original first Ninja Turtle pack. And I posted it in a group, and I says, these are the 2 turtles that started. These are my 2 most favorite turtles, figures that I have, turtles, anything that I have. And he goes, this guy messaged me, he goes, you do know those are both knockoffs? And I went, oh well, I'll keep them. They have sentimental value to me. I still don't know where the other one is. I'm pretty sure I didn't get rid of it because, again, sentimental value. But yeah, that's pretty much from there. I started finding stuff at Goodwills. I started finding stuff at a local comic book store, and started looking on eBay. And this hobby of collecting Ninja Turtles has actually persisted until just well, recently, I have picked one, I think it was like a month or two ago, but I've kind of slowed down just because it's getting harder and harder to find Ninja Turtle stuff. I found some soft heads at Goodwill. I think I got Donatello and Leonardo. So those are two, and then I later on found I want to say Michelangelo or Raph. Yeah, it might have been Raph. So I just missing Michelangelo. So really happy to have those. Found those in the bins at the local Goodwill. So, but yeah, again, I've been collecting quite a bit. I just kind of slowed down, being a little more careful of what I pick up, and obviously because stuff is getting more and more expensive and harder to find, and we have another baby on the way. It just makes sense to kind of slow down on certain things, because I am getting back into Godzilla and Ultraman and that stuff. But we'll get back to Turtles. Oh, and Star Wars. I've been getting back into the Black Series of Star Wars. I've been finding those cheap. So, but yeah, that is the story of how I got into Ninja Turtles. To be honest, I don't know why Ninja Turtles have such or got a hold of me, because I've had many collections, and I have sold so many of them. Just didn't keep them. Don't know why. But for some reason, Ninja Turtles has stuck with me quite a while, and it's just one of those things that I'm really happy that I still collect. The collecting is still going on. It's just maybe a little slower, and I'm not going to be buying huge lots of NECA figures, or I'm not going to be buying the Super 7s, but that's for a whole different reason. I won't be getting more statues, but it's fun. It's enjoyable. I will continue, as long as I can. As long as I can. Either I can't see, I can't work, or I just ran out of space, which seems the more likely one. But yeah, that is it. That is the story of how I got into Ninja Turtles. If you guys have seen my collection and you want to see how I got into anything, any other collection, just let me know. And hopefully you guys have a great day, and hit that like button, and give me subscribe if you want to. No pressure. I'm really doing this just to share my collection and share my passion for the stuff I love, the collectibles, that are either underneath my feet or around me as I play video games. So yeah, well guys, that's it. Have a good day. Bye bye.